It's a bright Saturday afternoon on the corner of 9th and Ash. The air smells like roasted peanuts and street tacos, and a small crowd gathers where the sidewalk widens near the metro exit. There, sitting on a worn stool, is Jordan King, 29, a soft-spoken black guitarist who's been playing this corner every weekend for 2 years. His case is open in front of him, just enough crumpled bills and change to get through the week, and across his chest, a guitar as old as it is meaningful. A sun-faded mahogany beauty passed down from his grandfather, who once played during civil rights marches in the South. Jordan sings softly but confidently. A Stevie Wonder cover. A couple sways. Someone records a clip. A child drops $1 into the case and grins. And then, from across the street, a patrol car pulls up. Officer Brett Kohler, mid-40s, pale skin, buzz cut, badge shining like a dare, steps out. Alone. He doesn't ask questions, doesn't check in, doesn't smile. He just walks straight toward Jordan, hands on his belt, scanning the crowd like they're already guilty. The music fades as Jordan slows his strumming. Kohler speaks with a bark, not a voice. "You got a permit for this?" Jordan lowers the guitar, calm but cautious. "Yes, sir. I have a street performance license through the city. Zone 3 includes this intersection. I can show you the—" "I didn't ask for a lecture," Kohler interrupts. "Shut it down." A few people stop walking. The tension lands like static. Jordan blinks, confused but still polite. "Officer, I promise I'm authorized to be here. If you'll let me—" Kohler moves faster than expected. He grabs the neck of the guitar with both hands and yanks it from Jordan's grip. Jordan stumbles back, gasps echoing through the crowd. "Hey!" someone shouts. Then Kohler lifts the instrument like a sledgehammer and slams it against the sidewalk. Once, twice, the sound of splintering wood is louder than the music ever was. The guitar shatters, neck cracked, strings flailing. Silence follows. Then outrage. "What the hell is wrong with you?" a woman screams. Kohler doesn't flinch. Performance is over. Jordan stares down at the ruins of his past. His chest rises, but he doesn't cry, doesn't speak. His hands shake as he crouches to pick up a splintered piece. Phones are already out. Recording. Streaming. Someone shouts, "We saw it! We got it all!" Another voice, "That's assault!" Kohler puts a hand on his holster. "Back off!" But no one moves. In fact, they start stepping forward, because today the crowd didn't turn away. Today the crowd turns on him. Officer Kohler keeps one hand near his holster, the other clenched at his side. He's no longer in control, and he knows it. His eyes dart between the cameras, the crowd, and the broken guitar at his feet. Jordan stands now, silent but steady. He holds the headstock of the guitar, what's left of it, in one hand. The initials carved into the wood, EK, still visible. His grandfather's initials. "I told you I had a permit," he says, voice low but even. "You didn't even look." Kohler snaps back, "I told you to shut it down." A man in the crowd steps forward. "I saw everything. You didn't ask. You grabbed. You destroyed." A woman next to him raises her phone. "We're still live, by the way. 20,000 people watching right now." Kohler shifts, his shoulders tense. He scans for backup, but none has arrived yet. Across the street, the manager of a coffee shop steps outside. "That guy's been playing here for years. We call him the Saturday soundtrack. He's got a laminated city permit taped to his speaker." The crowd begins circling in, tighter now, not physically close, but united. No one yells. No one touches the officer, but the energy shifts from panic to pressure. "You messed up, man. Apologize. Fix it." Kohler points toward Jordan. "This man resisted my order to cease an unauthorized performance." Someone calls out, "What order? All you did was break a guitar." Then sirens. 2 more cruisers roll up. Sergeant Veronica Hayes, tall, composed, and sharp-eyed, steps out. She's in plain uniform, her body language calm but firm. She walks through the crowd, nodding briefly to a few bystanders, then stands between Kohler and Jordan. "What's going on here?" Before Kohler can speak, 3 voices interrupt at once. "He broke the guitar. He never looked at the permit. It's all on video." Hayes raises a hand. The crowd quiets. She turns to Jordan. "Do you have your permit on you, sir?" Jordan nods and slowly pulls a laminated badge from his pocket. Hayes inspects it, then looks at Kohler. "This permit's valid," she says. "Zone 3 covers this block. You knew that." Kohler's jaw tightens. He was creating a disturbance. Hayes doesn't blink. "The only disturbance I see is your actions. You need to stand down. Kohler opens his mouth, but the sharp shift in her tone stops him. I said stand down. The crowd murmurs in approval. Hayes turns back to Jordan. I'm sorry, we'll take a report, and we'll do it right. Jordan looks her in the eyes. He didn't just break my guitar, that was my family's history. Hayes nods slowly. And it will be documented exactly that way, because when one hand destroys, another has to rebuild. And the crowd? They're still watching. Sergeant Hayes kneels beside the shattered guitar like it's evidence from a crime scene. She doesn't touch it, just studies the splinters, the twisted strings, the broken body like a corpse with history inside it. Behind her, Kohler shifts his weight. He's not used to being questioned, especially not in public, especially not by a superior. Do you have body cam footage? Hayes asks without turning to him. Yes, he replies tightly. Still recording? He hesitates. Yes. Good, she stands, brushing off her knees. You'll submit it immediately, and your written report better match what we've just heard from 10 different witnesses. The crowd doesn't cheer. They don't need to. Their silence has teeth now. Jordan kneels slowly and begins to collect the pieces of the guitar. The neck, the tuning pegs, the cracked pickguard with his grandfather's initials. His hands move like a surgeon's, delicate, controlled, aching beneath the surface. A teen from the crowd steps forward and hands him a reusable tote bag. To carry it, the kid says. Jordan accepts it with a nod. Thank you. Nearby, Lena, the cafe manager, approaches Hayes. I'd like to file a witness statement, and so would half of this block. You'll all have the chance, Hayes replies. She waves to one of the arriving officers. Get paper forms and digital logs. Start collecting statements now. Jordan finally rises. He doesn't speak, doesn't look at Kohler. But the damage he holds in the bag says enough. Hayes walks him toward her cruiser. I can take your statement at the precinct, or we can go to a quieter place if you prefer. I don't want to leave the street, Jordan says. Not yet. Hayes studies him. Then we'll do it right here. A folding chair is brought out from the cafe. Jordan sits, the broken guitar beside him, a clipboard in his lap. As he begins to write, Malik, a local journalist with a live streaming channel, moves in closer with his phone. He's been recording since the moment the crowd started shouting. I'm going to run this tonight, he says to his assistant. No edits, raw. Let people see what authority looks like when no one backs down. Malik turns the camera on himself. This is Jordan King. His guitar was destroyed by a patrol officer without warning despite a legal permit. But the real story isn't just what was broken, it's who refused to look away. Across social media, the clip is already gaining traction. Justice. For Jordan, let him play. Say his, sound Kohler, stands alone now, far from the center. One officer murmurs something in his ear. He nods, jaw tight, and starts walking to his cruiser. Quiet, no handcuffs, no perp walk, just shame shrinking into the background. But the cameras don't follow him. They stay with Jordan. Because this time, the story isn't about who took the power. It's about who stood tall after it was broken. By nightfall, the video is everywhere. News sites, Instagram reels, TikTok stitches. Jordan's story spreads faster than anyone can catch it. 1 million views by dinner. 4 million by midnight. National anchors call it an eruption of justified rage. Comment sections are flooded with words like disgusting, racist, and typical. But it's not the footage alone that catches fire. It's the quiet way Jordan handled it. No shouting, no swinging, just truth in his eyes and a broken guitar in his hands. At home, Jordan sits on the edge of his couch staring at his phone. Dozens of unread messages light up the screen. Reporters, lawyers, activists, even a few labels. He doesn't reply to any of them. Across town, Lena hosts a pop-up community meeting in her cafe. Half the chairs are filled with regulars from the block, the rest with new faces who say they came because we saw what they did to him. Malik stands up front. They didn't just break a guitar, he says. They broke public trust. And what happens next? We get to decide that. Someone suggests a fundraiser for a new guitar. Someone else suggests filing charges. A high school teacher offers to help Jordan draft a formal statement. But Lena raises a hand. Before we move, we ask. This is his voice, not ours to hijack. They all nod. The message is clear. Across the city, Sergeant Hayes meets with Internal Affairs. She presents her field notes, body cam timestamps, and 10 signed witness statements. This won't be swept, she says. Not on my watch. The review board looks uneasy. One member finally says, "This is going to escalate." Hayes meets their stare. "Good, let it." Meanwhile, Kohler is placed on administrative leave quietly. No press release, no formal announcement. Just a name removed from the schedule and a desk cleared before sunrise. But the internet knows. Malik posts a screenshot of the police roster, time-stamped. You can hide misconduct from the morning briefing. You can't hide it from the public record. The post goes viral within the hour. Back at Jordan's place, a soft knock at the door pulls him from his silence. Maya, the teen who handed him the tote bag, stands outside holding something wrapped in cloth. "I wanted to give you this," she says. He unwraps it. It's her guitar. Simple. Scratched. Loved. "I don't play much," she shrugs. "But I thought maybe you could teach me." Jordan blinks, stunned. He kneels, hands shaking slightly as he holds the instrument. "You sure?" She nods. "You kept playing after that man tried to break more than your strings. I figured I should keep learning." Jordan lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He gestures inside. "Come on. First lesson's free." Because movements don't always start with a speech. Sometimes they begin when one broken rhythm teaches another how to keep time. By morning, the city wakes up to headlines it can't scroll past. Guitar incident sparks civil rights outcry. Viral video leads to officer suspension. Who is Jordan King and why is his silence so loud? Jordan doesn't read them. He spends the morning sitting at his kitchen table with Maya's guitar in his lap. His fingers glide gently across the fretboard, testing the feel, the tension. It's not the same, but it's honest. Maya sits across from him, listening. "You don't talk much," she says. Jordan smiles faintly. "I was taught to let the sound speak." She leans forward. "Well, it's working." Elsewhere, Malik's phone rings nonstop. Major outlets want exclusive interviews. He ignores most, but answers one call from a national civil rights organization offering to host a town hall event in the city. "We want to bring Jordan into the conversation," the organizer says. "He didn't ask for any of this," Malik replies. "All the more reason to let him steer it." That afternoon, Lena prints posters. "Town hall, who owns public space?" They plaster them across street poles, cafes, and bus stops. Within hours, RSVP numbers hit the fire code limit. Meanwhile, Officer Kohler watches the backlash unfold from a couch in a quiet suburb far from the city center. His badge is gone. His name's all over Twitter. News vans hover like vultures, but the silence in his house is louder. His phone buzzes. It's a message from someone he used to patrol with. "You're lucky they didn't press charges, yet." He puts the phone face down and walks to the window. Out on the sidewalk, a young black teen is playing guitar. Not for money, just because he can. That night, Jordan walks the block where it all happened. He stops at the corner of 9th and Ash. It's quiet now, but something's changed. Chalk drawings cover the pavement, hearts, guitars, fists. Someone's written, "They tried to break the music. Instead, they made it louder." A small speaker sits near the wall. Someone rigged a motion sensor to it. When Jordan steps close, it begins to play the clip from the live stream. The moment Kohler smashed the guitar, followed by Jordan picking up the pieces. He listens once, then turns it off. He pulls Maya's guitar from its case and sits back down on the same stool he used every Saturday. And without saying a word, he plays. This time, not for tips, not even for justice, but for memory. A man walking his dog stops, then a couple with coffee, then two teens on scooters. Within 10 minutes, the sidewalk is full again, and no one calls the cops. Because when a sound returns after silence, people don't just listen, they lean in. The auditorium fills long before the start time. Fold-out chairs line the aisles. Portable fans hum in every corner. A banner hangs behind the stage, handwritten in bold black paint. "Who owns the sidewalk?" Jordan sits backstage, hands folded, guitar beside him. Maya sits next to him, bouncing one leg nervously. Malik paces, holding a notepad full of talking points he doesn't plan to use. "I shouldn't be up there," Jordan says, half to himself. Maya looks up. "Why not?" He shrugs. "I'm not a leader." "You are now." The lights dim. Lena takes the stage first. She keeps it short. "A man played music. A man with a badge broke it. What happens next is on all of us." Applause. Short, tight, raw. Then Malik steps up. He doesn't read from the notes. They tried to silence a sound, but sound doesn't need permission. Neither does dignity. Finally, Jordan's name is called. He walks slow, guitar strapped to his back like armor. When he steps to the mic, the crowd doesn't cheer. They go still, listening. "I didn't ask for this," he says. "I didn't want it." He glances toward the wings, where Hayes stands in uniform, arms crossed. She nods slowly. But when someone breaks what matters to you in public, your choice is simple. Pick up the pieces, or let them define what's left. He unslings the guitar and sits. Doesn't plug it in, just starts to play. A new song. Unfinished. Wounded and rising. No lyrics. Just melody. The room doesn't move. When he stops, he looks up. That guitar was my grandfather's. He marched with it, played it in protests. It wasn't expensive, but it was history. When Officer Kohler smashed it, he thought he was silencing one guy on a sidewalk. What he didn't know was that you were all watching. Scattered nods. A few murmurs of, "That's right." Tonight's not about punishment, it's about ownership. The sidewalk, the sound, the story. We get to own them again. Standing ovation. Backstage, Hayes receives a text. DA reviewing internal affairs report. Possible charges being drafted. She doesn't react, just pockets the phone. Across town, Kohler sees a clip of Jordan's speech trending online. The video is raw. No music, no editing. Just one man, a guitar, and a crowd that didn't let the story die. He turns the screen face down. This time, the silence feels earned. Later that night, Jordan steps outside the venue into warm evening air. A small group of kids waits near the steps. "Will you teach us how to play?" one of them asks. Jordan kneels. "Only if you promise to keep playing, even when someone tells you not to. Because when a story becomes a sound, and a sound becomes a movement, no one person can stop it." The district attorney's office is packed tight. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead as folders slide across desks. Among them is one labeled, "Internal Use, Subject, Officer Brett Kohler, Incident ID number 2478. Inside are 10 eyewitness statements, body cam timestamps, Jordan's formal complaint, and the viral clip viewed over 12 million times. ADA Carmen Pierce flips through the documents, jaw clenched. She's not new to police misconduct files, but this one burns. She leans back in her chair and mutters, "This one's different. The whole city saw it." Her assistant nods. "Public's demanding charges. You press forward, they'll cheer. You stall, they'll riot." Carmen sets the folder down. "Then we do it clean. No shortcuts, no loopholes." She signs the referral for formal charges. Destruction of property, abuse of authority, falsifying report language. Across town, Kohler receives notice by mail. He opens the envelope slowly, hands shaking. The words stare back at him like a sentence already served. "You are hereby notified of pending charges. You are advised to obtain legal counsel." He exhales, not in shock, but resignation. There's no one left to defend him. Meanwhile, Malik releases a new update on his channel titled, "The Charges Are Coming, How Jordan's Case is Changing Policy." It trends instantly. In the video, he walks through the legal developments and ends with, "This isn't just about a guitar, it's about power, and how quickly it shatters when people stand up instead of backing down." At the community center, Jordan is sitting with Maya and 2 other students, showing them chord transitions. The kids giggle when they mess up. Jordan doesn't correct them, just nods and keeps the rhythm. Lena steps in quietly, holding her phone. "They're charging him," she says. "The DA's going forward." Jordan nods, but he doesn't cheer, doesn't smile, just sets down the guitar and says, "Okay." "You don't seem surprised." "I'm not. I'm just tired." Later, as the sun sets, Jordan walks the block where it began. He stops in front of a mural that's been painted over the last few days. It shows a man sitting on a stool, guitar in hand, head slightly bowed. The guitar glows gold, radiant, whole. All around him are people, standing, listening, recording. At the bottom, it reads, "Some sounds can't be silenced." Jordan stares at it for a while, then pulls a Sharpie from his pocket and adds one line in the corner. "This happened, we happened." Because justice isn't a headline. It's a trail of moments that no one can erase. Kohler is due in court on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Sharp. 3 misdemeanor counts, 1 felony, and a citywide audience watching every move. His lawyer advises him to stay out of public view until then, but the city won't wait. Outside the courthouse, metal barricades go up as early as Sunday night. Protest organizers set up folding tables and pass out handmade signs that read, "The badge isn't a weapon. Respect public space. Justice has strings too." By Monday, news trucks line the street. Commentators speak from mobile studios. Social feeds count down to the arraignment like it's a televised event. Malik is there too, but he doesn't speak on camera. He just films, faces in the crowd, posters in the windows, candles placed beside chalk outlines of broken guitars. The footage speaks louder than any narration. Inside a community room 2 blocks away, Jordan is practicing his breathing. He's agreed to deliver a short statement before the hearing. Not to press charges, not to grandstand, just to tell the truth again. But this time, with the city listening from courtroom benches instead of sidewalks, Lena hands him a bottle of water. "They'll expect you to get emotional." Jordan shrugs. "Let them expect. I'll just get honest." That night, Sergeant Hayes finishes reviewing her own written testimony. She includes every detail from the scene, the permit Jordan carried, Kohler's body language, the witness reactions, even the moment she ordered him to stand down. She doesn't write with bitterness. She writes with precision. At 8:15 a.m. Tuesday, Jordan steps out of a black sedan and walks toward the courthouse entrance. Maya walks beside him, not as a student but as a witness. She holds his guitar case like a flag. People cheer quietly. Not like fans, but like fellow travelers. The crowd parts as Jordan walks through. No speeches, no signs raised in his name, just presence. Kohler arrives through a back entrance. Inside, the courtroom fills within minutes. The judge enters, firm and formal. The clerk reads out the charges. Kohler pleads not guilty. His lawyer requests a delay. The judge denies it. Then, the judge turns to Jordan. "You've requested to address the court?" Jordan nods. Steps forward, clears his throat. "I'm not here for punishment," he says. "I'm here because someone thought my silence made me disposable, that my music made me less of a citizen." He pauses. "I play because it keeps my family's history alive, because it reminds people that we belong. When he destroyed that guitar, he didn't just break something I loved. He tried to remind me of my place." A few people shift in their seats. "But I'm still here, still playing, still not afraid." He looks straight at Kohler. Not with anger, just clarity. "And I want the record to show. He didn't silence me. He made me louder. Because sometimes justice isn't what the court declares. It's what the people refuse to forget." The courtroom is quiet when Jordan steps down. No outburst, no applause. Just that deep, collective stillness that settles when the truth lands clean. Kohler stares at the table in front of him. His lawyer leans over, whispers something. He nods but says nothing. His shoulders look smaller now. The judge thanks Jordan for his statement and recesses for the day. The actual trial will begin in 2 weeks. For now, the city just heard the preview, and it was louder than any opening argument could have been. Outside, the crowd parts again as Jordan exits the courthouse. Cameras flash, questions fly. But Jordan doesn't speak to reporters. Instead, he walks to the sidewalk where Maya stands holding the guitar. She hands it to him with quiet pride. "Now what?" she asks. He looks at the crowd. "I don't know yet," he says. "But I think they do." Across the city, reaction pours in. Clips from the courtroom flood social feeds. Activists replay his words. "He didn't silence me, he made me louder." Becomes a slogan, printed on shirts and pinned to backpacks. Malik posts a short video montage titled, "9 days later, the guitar still plays." It's under 2 minutes, set to soft fingerpicking Jordan recorded the night before. No narration, no voice, just footage of people playing instruments in parks, on porches, in subways. The video ends with a close-up of the mural on 9th and Ash, now surrounded by candles and flowers. It reaches 2 million views in 24 hours. Meanwhile, the mayor's office announces a new initiative, Public Harmony, a grant program offering legal support and performance equipment to local street musicians. It's funded by a combination of community donations and redirected city arts funds. At a press conference, the mayor speaks plainly. "We cannot undo what was broken, but we can choose what we build next." Sergeant Hayes is invited to speak at the launch. She declines the podium, but she attends, standing off to the side in uniform, arms folded, eyes fixed on the crowd. Back at the community center, Jordan hosts an open mic night. It starts small. A few kids, a teacher with a trumpet, a spoken word artist. Then a middle-aged man steps up with a battered violin. He doesn't speak, just nods toward Jordan and begins to play a melody that sounds like an apology wrapped in hope. The room is silent until the final note fades. Then someone claps, then another, and soon the whole room. Jordan doesn't perform that night. He just listens, watches, makes space, because tonight isn't about him. It's about the sound of something broken becoming something shared, and how healing doesn't always start with justice. Sometimes it starts with a song. The trial date approaches, but the streets don't wait for verdicts. Flyers go up across the city. People's concert, one night, one sound, one message. It's not just a fundraiser, it's a statement. Musicians from every borough sign on. Jazz quartets, spoken word poets, gospel choirs, hip-hop crews, all donating time, energy, and rhythm to a night that demands nothing but presence. Jordan doesn't plan to play. He agrees to attend, to listen, to witness. The venue sells out in 2 hours. On the night of the concert, the crowd floods the plaza outside City Hall. Portable speakers echo off concrete. Food trucks line the block. LED screens flash Jordan's quote on repeat. "He didn't silence me, he made me louder." Jordan arrives with Maya and Lena. He doesn't wear anything flashy, just a plain black shirt and the same guitar case slung across his back. Inside it, Maya's gift. Still the only guitar he uses. Malik is already backstage, setting up a stream. "Tonight's going global," he says. "I've got syndication with 2 national outlets and a civil rights org live streaming it to 10 countries. Jordan exhales. "I'm not ready for that." "You were never supposed to be ready," Malik replies. "That's why it matters." As the show begins, the energy builds like a slow flame. One act after another. Bold, honest, raw. A young violinist plays a protest hymn. A poetry group recites lines about ownership and space and who gets to be heard without permission. Then, halfway through the night, Lena steps on stage. She doesn't sing. She reads from a letter. "Dear Jordan, you didn't ask to be a symbol, you just played. And that was enough to scare the wrong man into showing the city exactly what's broken. We don't need you to carry all of this, but thank you for carrying the first note." Silence. Then roaring applause. Malik's livestream chat explodes. "Powerful." Say his sound. This changes things. Finally, a quiet voice comes through a side mic. It's Jordan. He doesn't take center stage. He stays off to the side, mic clipped to his collar, guitar resting on his knee. "I'm not going to give a speech," he says. "I'll just play what I remember." And he does. A soft meandering tune. Simple. Almost unfinished. It sounds like everything the city has been feeling. Hope, hurt, heat. Maya stands off stage, eyes wet. Lena holds a hand to her chest. Even Hayes is there in plain clothes, arms folded tight, but gaze unblinking. Jordan finishes. Doesn't say a word. Just stands, nods once, and walks off. Because sometimes justice isn't what happens in court. It's what rises when the silence finally breaks. The courtroom feels different this time. Not because of the cameras, those are banned now. Not because of the crowd. Only a few reporters are allowed in. It feels different because people finally expect something to happen. Officer Brett Kohler sits at the defense table, suit pressed, jaw locked. But the confidence is gone, replaced by stillness. He hasn't spoken to press, he hasn't apologized, and the city hasn't stopped watching. On the prosecution side, ADA Carmen Pierce prepares her opening statement. She starts simply, "This case isn't about broken wood, it's about broken trust." The defendant, while wearing a badge, destroyed not only an instrument, but the dignity of a citizen acting within his legal right. She turns toward the jury. And then he lied about it. Pierce calls her first witness, Sergeant Veronica Hayes. Hayes takes the stand, hand steady, voice sharper than usual. "I arrived on the scene approximately 5 minutes after the incident. Mr. King presented a valid permit. There were multiple witnesses confirming he was not hostile. The guitar was destroyed before any verbal resistance occurred." "And Officer Kohler?" Pierce asks. Hayes looks directly at the jury. "He was combative, disrespectful. He disregarded both protocol and common decency." The defense tries to poke holes. "Sergeant, would you agree that officers are allowed to enforce street ordinances?" "Absolutely," Hayes replies. "But enforcement does not mean destruction." Pierce's next move is calculated. She introduces Exhibit A, a box containing the remnants of Jordan's guitar. Strings twisted, neck split, pickguard cracked. Each piece laid carefully in a transparent tray. The room goes silent. This guitar belonged to Mr. King's grandfather, Pierce says. A man who played during civil rights marches. This was more than property, it was history. The jury watches as Jordan is called forward to identify the remains. He walks slowly, then leans in. His eyes trace every fracture. He says only 2 words. That's it. No theatrics, no tears, just truth. Outside, the protesters gather again, fewer than before, but louder. Maya helps run a table offering flyers on artist protections. Lena speaks to a local news anchor about city ordinance revisions. And Malik uploads a clip from court that somehow leaks before the recess bell rings. Back inside, Kohler still hasn't spoken. His lawyer whispers, urging him to testify. Kohler shakes his head, because deep down he knows words won't fix what the world already saw. And Jordan? He returns to his seat beside Pierce, hands folded, gaze level. He's not asking the court for vengeance, only recognition. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, you saw it. Now say it matters. Day 3 of the trial, and Kohler still hasn't spoken. The court watches him like a ticking clock that refuses to move. His defense team argues unnecessary emotional framing, but the jury has seen the evidence. And more importantly, they've seen him, cold, immovable, silent. That silence no longer feels like strength. It feels like avoidance. Ada Carmen Pierce calls her next witness, Lena Brooks, cafe owner, eyewitness, and one of the first to live stream the incident. She walks to the stand with quiet purpose. No suit, no prep team. Just a woman who saw something wrong and pressed record. Can you describe what you witnessed? Pierce asks. Lena nods. Jordan was playing music. People were smiling. A little girl dropped $1 in his case. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't blocking anything. He was giving. And then? Officer Kohler approached without greeting, without warning. He didn't ask about a permit. He didn't touch his radio. He just grabbed the guitar and smashed it. Pierce lifts a printed screenshot from the original live stream. Kohler mid-swing, guitar neck already cracking. Is this accurate? She asks. It's worse in motion, Lena replies. The defense objects, but the judge allows the comment to stand. Later, during cross-examination, Kohler's lawyer tries to press her. Is it possible you misread the officer's intent? I didn't misread anything, she fires back. He didn't see a man playing music. He saw a black man taking up space. The courtroom stiffens. The defense recoils. The jury leans in. Pierce doesn't say a word. She doesn't need to. After the session, Malik posts a new clip to his platform. This time, not from inside the courtroom, but from the Open Chord Project. The camera pans across a rehearsal space filled with youth musicians. Kids of all backgrounds strumming, bowing, drumming, some in rhythm, some not, but all together. Malik narrates, while the trial unfolds, something else is happening. A city that used to look away is now listening. Not because a guitar broke, because something finally rang louder than silence. Jordan watches the video on his phone that night. He's sitting alone in his apartment, guitar nearby, untouched. Maya texts, that line today, about space, it hit. He types back, that space belongs to all of us, and now they know it. The next morning, the prosecution rests. The courtroom waits to see if Kohler will take the stand. His lawyer rises, adjusts his tie, and speaks. The defense will not be calling the defendant to testify. Murmurs ripple through the gallery. The judge nods. Very well. Closing arguments tomorrow. Jordan exhales. One more day. Because when you refuse to speak for too long, eventually, the silence starts to speak for you. The courtroom is fuller than usual, not because more people are allowed in, but because no one's missing it. Everyone with a seat is present. Everyone standing is silent. Even the air seems to wait. It's closing argument day. ADA Carmen Pierce stands, calm and deliberate. No theatrics, just facts, wrapped in principle. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she begins, you've seen the footage. You've heard the testimonies. What Officer Kohler did that day was not a misunderstanding, not poor judgment. It was a deliberate act of force against a peaceful citizen. She steps closer, and when confronted with his actions, he said nothing. He offered no remorse. He falsified language in his report and let the public suffer for the truth. Pierce holds up the laminated performance permit, now wrinkled but readable. Jordan King followed every rule. He carried this. He had approval. and he had every right to play on that sidewalk. She pauses, then nods toward the evidence table, where the broken guitar still sits. You can't rebuild what was destroyed that day, but you can decide it mattered. She thanks the jury and sits. Kohler's defense lawyer stands. His voice is flatter, cautious. This case is emotionally charged. Yes, the incident was regrettable, but my client followed city enforcement protocol. He perceived a disturbance and acted swiftly. He made no physical contact with Mr. King and no bodily harm occurred. He gestures toward the jury. We must remember, hurt feelings do not equal criminal misconduct. A few jurors exchange glances. He ends with a weak smile. This is a matter of judgment, not malice. Then he sits. The judge gives final instructions. The jury files out, and the waiting begins. Outside the courthouse, crowds have gathered again, this time quieter. Not protesting, just present. Watching, waiting. Jordan sits on a bench down the block with Maya beside him. He hasn't said much all morning. You okay? She asks. He nods slowly. Just tired of carrying the weight of someone else's silence. They wait together. Malik walks by with his camera and gives Jordan a nod, not asking for a statement, just showing solidarity. Back inside, Kohler remains at the defense table, eyes forward. Not defiant, not apologetic, just empty. Pierce watches him from across the aisle. She doesn't need him to speak. The city already has. After 3 hours, the jury returns. Everyone rises. The foreman hands a folded paper to the bailiff, who hands it to the judge. The judge reads it silently, then speaks clearly. On count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Murmurs ripple like wind through grass. On count 4, misdemeanor destruction of property, guilty. Jordan lets out a breath, not relief, not triumph, just truth being spoken aloud, finally. Kohler doesn't flinch, doesn't speak, because even now the silence has nothing left to protect. The courthouse doors open. People flood out, not shouting, but breathing. Some cheer, some cry, but most simply stand on the steps and absorb what just happened. A guilty verdict. All counts. Not a settlement, not a dismissal, not another name buried beneath bureaucracy. Malik goes live immediately. No justice is ever whole, he says, camera steady. But today we saw accountability. Today someone in uniform was told, you don't get to erase us just because we're visible. His stream reaches over 1 million in the first hour. Jordan exits through the side door, avoiding the flashbulbs. Maya's with him again, holding on to his sleeve, not as a student anymore, but as someone who understands what just shifted. They walk slowly, turning onto the quiet block where everything began. 9th and Ash. There's a small group waiting, neighbors, fellow musicians, a few familiar faces from earlier protests. Someone has set up folding chairs. Another person hands Jordan a new guitar case, still closed. He looks confused. It's from all of us, says Lena, stepping forward. Crowdfunded, built by hand. Same wood, same dimensions as your grandfather's, a custom replica. Jordan opens it slowly. Inside, the instrument gleams. Mahogany body, gold-plated tuners, and in the sound hole, a single carved phrase. This time, we all heard it. He doesn't cry. Doesn't speak. He simply takes it out, straps it on, and sits on the same old stool he hasn't used since the day it was broken. Then he plays. It's not a protest song, not a ballad, just pure melodic tone. Warm, full, undamaged. The sound of something returning. One by one, people sit. Someone brings coffee. Another lights a candle. For 10 full minutes, the block is still. A family walks by, stops to listen. A child drops $1 in the open case. Jordan nods. Balance restored. At City Hall the next morning, the mayor signs the final version of the Public Harmony Act, officially protecting licensed performers from unwarranted police intervention. It mandates de-escalation training, community engagement, and financial penalties for violators. Standing beside her is Sergeant Hayes, not smiling but satisfied. It took too long, she says, but now it's written in ink. Back at the community center, Maya pins a flyer on the corkboard. Open Chord Summer Program. Beginner classes. Start July 1st. Beneath it, someone adds a handwritten note. You can't mute what keeps playing. Because justice doesn't end with a gavel. It begins with what people choose to build afterward. Summer arrives quietly in the city. No more protests, no more courtrooms, but something lingers, like the echo of a final chord. It's in the sidewalks, in the murals, in the way people now stop and listen when someone pulls out an instrument on the corner. The Open Chord project explodes with signups. So many, they have to open a second location. Maya now leads beginner guitar sessions every Tuesday and Thursday. She's confident, calm, and just stern enough to keep the kids focused. Jordan visits sometimes, but mostly he stays out of the spotlight. He's back to playing weekends on his favorite corner, now protected by law, but more importantly, by community. One Saturday, he arrives to find a folding stool already set up, a cold water bottle beside it, and a hand-painted sign that reads, "This space reserved for Mr. King." He smiles, sits, tunes slowly. The city doesn't gather like before. No huge crowds, no cameras, just steady support. People nodding, pausing, dropping a few dollars. The difference now is that no one looks surprised to see him there. His presence has become normal, and that somehow feels like the loudest victory of all. Meanwhile, Malik's full-length documentary, Strings Attached, premieres at a national film festival. Critics call it a masterclass in truth-telling. It's picked up by a major streaming platform within a week. The film ends with the footage of Jordan playing on 9th and Ash. But instead of showing the incident, Malik chooses something quieter. Jordan handing Maya a pick, nodding, and letting her start the song. The moment he passed the sound forward. Across town, Sergeant Hayes now leads monthly police community roundtables. She's firm, respected, and no longer the exception in her department. New recruits know her by name. Some fear her, most admire her. At one meeting, a young officer asks, "What changed after the King case?" She doesn't pause. "We stopped confusing power with presence." Back at the cafe, Lena hangs a new framed photo near the register. It's the shattered guitar, every piece laid out on black velvet like artifacts. Next to it, she posts a simple placard. "This broke a sound, but it couldn't stop it." Jordan reads it one day while waiting for coffee. He doesn't say anything, just smiles and taps the glass once before heading out. He walks the block like it's his, not because he owns it, because no one questions his right to be there anymore. Later that night, he gets a call from Maya. "There's a student who wants to meet you," she says. Jordan hesitates. "Why?" She says your story made her pick up a guitar for the first time. She's scared. "I told her you'd understand." He thinks for a second, then answers, "Bring her Saturday. I'll let her play the first song." Because some stories don't end. They shift keys and find someone else to keep the rhythm alive. Saturday morning on 9th and Ash feels different now. No fanfare, no crowd control, just quiet respect. People know what this corner means. And more importantly, they know who it belongs to. Jordan arrives just after 10, carrying the guitar Maya's students now call the Rebuild. The same gold-lettered phrase still glows inside the sound hole. This time, we all heard it. Waiting for him is Maya and a girl named Talia, maybe 13, gripping a ukulele like it might vanish if she blinks. Jordan crouches beside her. "You ready?" Talia doesn't answer right away, then she nods, barely. Jordan opens his case and hands her the pick. "You start, I'll follow." She hesitates, fingers clumsy at first. A shaky C chord, then an awkward strum, but she plays. Jordan joins in softly, adding rhythm, letting her set the pace. His chords catch hers like training wheels. For 5 minutes, that corner becomes a stage again, not for protest, not for justice, just for sound. When they stop, the small group of passers-by claps gently. Talia beams. "You did that," Jordan says, tapping her shoulder. "Not me." Across the street, someone records the moment. The video goes viral within a day, not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it's gentle. Captioned, "A space once broken, a sound passed on." At City Council, the Public Harmony Act receives its first official review. The data shows complaints against street performers have dropped by 43%. Civilian police altercations related to permits? Down 61%. But more than numbers, there are stories. Kids joining summer music programs, officers attending community jam sessions, neighbors organizing block concerts. The culture didn't just change, it expanded. Meanwhile, Malik is nominated for a National Journalism Award. He gives all credit to the man who never raised his voice but still shook a city. Jordan laughs when he hears that. "I didn't shake anything," he tells Lena over coffee. "I just played." She grins. Exactly. That weekend, Jordan plays one more time on his usual corner. Mid-song, he looks up and sees a woman in her 60s watching him intently, When the song ends, she walks over, presses a folded envelope into his hand, and says nothing. Inside, a photo of his grandfather, playing guitar, marching, young, brave, unshaken. On the back, a note written in neat cursive. He'd be proud, not because you fought, but because you didn't stop playing. Jordan folds the photo carefully, slides it into his case, and plays again, this time louder. Because some stories echo longer than anger. And some justice doesn't roar. It resonates. The local high school auditorium smells like dust and nerves. Rows of folding chairs face a modest stage. Above it, a simple banner reads, "Voices of the Block, a youth showcase." Jordan sits backstage, tuning his guitar. He's not here to perform. He's been invited as a guest mentor, an honorary title, but one that clearly means something to the kids buzzing around in ill-fitting suits and trembling heels. Maya appears from behind the curtain. She's holding a clipboard, flustered but smiling. They're nervous. He nods. Good. It means they care. She hands him a program. His name is printed at the bottom in bold letters. Closing words, Jordan King. I didn't write a speech, he says. You never do, she replies. The showcase begins. One by one, the kids walk on stage. Some sing, some read poetry. One boy beatboxes while his sister plays violin. There are missed notes, cracked voices, forgotten lyrics, but no one laughs. No one interrupts. Because now, this space belongs to them. When it's Jordan's turn, he doesn't go center stage. He walks to the mic at the edge, guitar in hand, and stays standing. I've been on sidewalks where people tried to make me smaller, he begins. Tried to crush what I carried because they didn't understand it. He looks over the crowd. Parents, teachers, friends. Kids still backstage, peeking through the curtains. But sound is like a seed. Step on it, and it still finds a way to grow. He nods toward the stage. Tonight, you grew it. He doesn't play a full song. Just one chord. Clear, warm, holding in the air longer than it should. Then he steps away. Later, Malik publishes a short video from the event, simply titled, Jordan King Steps Aside. Youth Steps Forward. The final shot, Jordan clapping in the audience while a 12-year-old strums a lopsided guitar confidently under stage lights. The city watches, but this time no one waits for Jordan to speak. They know the rhythm now. That same week, Sergeant Hayes announces her retirement. Not with a press conference, just a note pinned on the department bulletin board. Don't forget who you work for, and don't forget who's watching. At her farewell gathering, she hugs Jordan quietly and whispers, You made this job harder. That's a compliment. He laughs. Elsewhere, Kohler, now a civilian with no badge, no power, and no audience, drives past 9th and Ash. He doesn't stop, doesn't roll down the window, just slows slightly at the corner where a new teen plays acoustic blues in front of a chalk mural. It reads, Broken once, still singing. Because real change isn't one man's punishment, it's one community deciding what breaks and what gets rebuilt. The city announces a new community space on the east end of the plaza. It used to be a gravel lot, forgotten between two warehouses. Now it's being transformed. Stage, seating, trees, lights, a place for gathering, storytelling, music. And at the heart of the project is one idea, uninterrupted expression. The name is decided unanimously by city vote, the Jordan King Commons. When Jordan hears the news, he's stunned. I never asked for a plaque, he says to Maya, staring at the renderings. You didn't ask for a broken guitar either, she replies. Construction begins with volunteers, students, neighbors, local musicians. Lena provides lunch. Hayes, though retired, helps coordinate permits. Malik films everything but doesn't speak on camera. He says the place should be felt, not explained. Jordan visits often during the build. He doesn't give orders. He just shows up, sanding benches, planting shrubs, sometimes sitting alone in the unfinished space and playing quietly while others work. One afternoon, a group of kids from the Open Chord Project come to help. They find Jordan tuning his guitar, sitting on the edge of what will soon be a stage. The youngest among them, Talia, sits beside him. You gonna play something? She asks. He nods once. You first. She smiles, picks up her ukulele, plays a simple, clean melody. Others join. Drums, harmonies, foot taps, laughter. Soon the work pauses, but no one minds. The tools drop. The hammers rest. Because the sound takes over. And for the first time since that day on 9th and Ash, Jordan doesn't feel like the center of the story. He feels like part of something bigger. Weeks later, the grand opening draws a crowd. Not a political one, not a viral one. Just families, teachers, musicians, friends. People who followed the journey not for spectacle, but for meaning. A ribbon is cut. Maya opens the event with a short speech. "This space isn't a reward," she says. "It's a correction." She gestures to the main plaque beside the stage. Etched in steel, this land once held silence. Now it holds sound. Jordan doesn't speak. He simply walks on stage, guitar in hand, nods once to the crowd, and strums. No song, no words, just a chord. Warm, clear, whole. The sound echoes across the plaza, bouncing off new stone, fresh paint, open sky. And the people lean in, because legacies don't live in statues. They live in spaces where no one flinches when someone plays. Weeks pass. The crowds shrink, the news cycle moves on, the live stream numbers settle, but something remains in the air. Not noise, not spectacle, rhythm. Jordan wakes before sunrise now, not out of anxiety or pressure, out of habit. He makes coffee, tunes his guitar, plays a few notes into the quiet morning. Not for anyone, just for himself. Maya stops by before school on Thursdays. They don't always talk. Sometimes she just sits, tapping her foot as Jordan plays. Other times, she teaches him a new riff one of her students came up with. "I think they're better than I ever was," she says. "That's the point," Jordan replies. The Open Chord project grows beyond the city. Cities in 3 other states reach out asking for blueprints, curriculum, guest artists. Lena helps coordinate. Malik works on a follow-up doc, but this time with youth voices narrating instead of him. "They're telling it now," he says. "I'm just holding the camera." Sergeant Hayes, now officially retired, visits the plaza once a week. She walks the edge of the Jordan King Commons, not with nostalgia, but with peace. One afternoon, she finds Jordan sitting under a tree near the stage. "You still haven't written a book," she says. He smirks. "You still haven't written a speech." She chuckles. "Fair." They sit in silence for a while. Just the wind. Just sound. Jordan eventually says, "I think it's better this way. No headlines, no cameras, just presence." She nods. Exactly what they tried to take. Down the block, a mural is repainted. Not because it was damaged, just because a group of teens wanted to add color. The original phrase stays, "Broken once, still singing." But now, bright notes swirl around it. Purple, gold, green, electric blue. Musical notes and handprints interwoven. Jordan walks by, stops to look. The teens glance up. "Is it okay?" one of them asks. He smiles. "It's better." That evening, Jordan returns to 9th and Ash. Not to play, just to be. He sits on the edge of the planter where he used to perform, guitar beside him. People pass, nod, smile, but no one stares. No one pulls out a phone. His presence isn't a performance anymore. It's part of the neighborhood. A busker down the block starts playing blues. A teenager hums along as she walks by. Somewhere, someone's phone plays a clip of Jordan's old song, but no one comments. It just blends in, because when justice becomes normal, no one needs to say its name. They just live in its rhythm. Autumn rolls in with gold leaves and steady wind. The city breathes easier now, not because it's perfect, but because it remembers how to listen. At the Jordan King Commons, a small sign goes up, "Fall Acoustic Festival," featuring students of the Open Chord project. It isn't advertised citywide. No media blitz, no viral buildup, just word of mouth, flyers taped to coffee shop windows, and quiet excitement building between strings and fingers. Jordan walks the plaza early, before anyone arrives. He watches crews set up chairs, test mics, string lights across the trees. Maya greets him with 2 coffees and a set list scribbled in pencil. "You're last," she says. "Just one song." He raises an eyebrow. "Only one?" "You said it yourself. Some sounds last longer when you don't overplay them." He laughs. "Touché." The festival begins with shaky chords and warm applause. A trio of girls plays folk harmonies. A teenage boy with blue hair reads spoken word lyrics over jazz chords. A student from Hayes' former precinct sings an original piece titled "No More Silence." Lena hands out pastries and lemonade. Malik captures moments from afar. No zoom-ins, no narration, just kids creating echoes. Then, as the sky turns amber and the last light clings to the rooftops, Maya takes the mic. This next and final performance is from the man who reminded us what listening really means. She steps back. Jordan walks to the stage with slow confidence. He doesn't speak, doesn't wave, just sits. He lifts the guitar, the same one rebuilt, retuned, reloved. He places his fingers gently on the strings and plays. No vocals, no spotlight, just a melody with miles behind it. It weaves through the crowd, into the trees, onto the street where it all began. Some close their eyes, some hum along. Others just stand still, knowing they're hearing something earned. As he finishes, he doesn't bow. He simply stands, nods once, and lets the final note fade into the autumn wind. The applause is soft, honest, human. Later, after the lights come down and the chairs are stacked, Jordan stays behind. Maya sits beside him, shoes off, eyes up. "Do you ever think about that day?" she asks. He doesn't answer right away. "I think about what almost got taken," he says finally, "and how we refused to give it up." She nods. "That's legacy, right?" "No," Jordan says, smiling faintly. "That's music." They sit in silence. But it's not empty. It's full, with memory, with sound, with future. Because when injustice tries to break the beat, a whole community can choose to keep playing. And sometimes the last note never really ends.